All right, so I suck at being on camera. If you've seen any of my videos, I'm sure I've mentioned that I am not a performer. I suck being on camera. But turns out if you're trying to do YouTube videos, usually the talent you have is whoever's available. So that guy. I decided I'd write down a bunch of things that I've learned just being in front of camera since not a theater kid. Um, Although I did do a fifth grade, it was George Washington in the fifth grade play where I decided to improvise, but I didn't know what improvise means, so I asked in the middle of the play arbitrarily to another character, "Was the whole world really at war?" And that derailed the play a little bit. Anyway, not a performer. So here's the things I've learned forcing myself to be in front of camera for this stuff. I no longer hate my voice, or I've been changing my voice in post production. I can't tell which is which. I don't know. All I know is my Starbucks order is really hard to do. So I don't know. I've looked in the mirror all my life, but I've never really noticed what I look like until having to edit footage of myself. The body is yes, but especially the face. For some reason, I guess I just never really. I'm also kind of like partially face blind, so maybe that's it. But having to edit my own face, it's eye opening. I'd say. Yeah. If there's anybody who's sick of looking at themselves, it's me. So let's see what else. I have a good side. I have a bad side. So my good side is this side, I believe. Ironically, it's not lit. I have a good side and I have a bad side. Always thought that was a joke. It's a thing. I have a good side. I have a bad side. I look super chunky when I sit, especially when I sit on this couch because it makes my knees go higher than everything else, so my stomach rolls over. So, yeah, the camera adds 10 pounds, and I'm working on it. But I've noticed when I sit, I look super chunky. Next up, I don't have that many wardrobe options. I've noticed that I pretty much wear the same like 4 outfits every single time. So maybe that's a numbers thing. Maybe that's just the existence of being poor. I don't know. But I see myself repeating outfits constantly on the YouTube videos. The trickiest part of setting up the shot for me when I'm doing this kind of stuff is not making it look like I'm going bald, because I am. So at a certain point, I'm just gonna have to suck it up. But until then, I'm trying every trick in the book to not make it look like I'm losing hair. So. I can't line read nor memorize, not even a little. So I can read from this, but even if I gave myself a teleprompter, it would be a disaster. I don't. I'm sure I could cultivate the skill better than what I'm at, but yeah, even if I try to give myself a whole sentence to read, it's gonna be a disaster. So, yep. I always thought my nose was distracting, but I'm realizing now it's more like my teeth and my clothes and my hair and my body and my nose. Let's see what else. I have facial tics, and the more I try to stop them, the more they happen. Usually when I'm making it, oh, I just did one. Usually when I'm making a point, I'll do something like that, mostly involuntarily. Even before I was on the medication that I was on, ooh, did it again. Ooh, now I'm doing it. Even before I was on the medication that I was on, I had just some sort of like, I guess that's just how I gesture, is I have these weird like head tics. But now that I'm on an SSRI, I can feel the twitch coming, and sometimes it's my feet, and sometimes it's my head. It's a thing that happens. It's like it's weird. It's weird. It's like having restless leg syndrome all over your body. So I realize I'm talking to myself when I'm talking to the camera. So right when I started this, and before that even, a lot of the anxiety towards actually performing in front of a camera, performing, was the idea that somebody was going to see this, or the world as an abstract idea would see this. At this point, I'm just talking to the camera. So it's 50% I'm talking to myself, 50% I'm talking to the camera. I don't have an audience member in mind. I don't have an idea of an audience in mind, other than whoever I wrote the material for. I'm not playing to a stage. I'm literally just basically having a conversation with my best friend that is the camera. That's really what it is. Yeah, so I'd say 90% of it is what that is. And sometimes it's me sort of reliving conversations I've had with friends. So, some days I don't have it mentally. Usually I either give up or I don't bother with the camera when that happens, because it's not going to get done. Consequently, some days I don't have it physically, and that happens a lot, and it is what it is. I do my best to not have super dark circles under my eyes, but let's be honest, if you just put all the thumbnails of all my YouTubes together, the dark circles are there pretty much permanently. So, yep. I'm a sweaty person once the camera starts rolling, and this is I learned this before anything. Like, in the same way, I would just suck if somebody turned on a camera in front of me. I'm just a sweaty person, and when I was working in TV and reality, some people just do it. So it would have never occurred to me until it started happening that it happens. But it's, yeah, for some reason, if I don't see the tally light, if the camera's just idling, no big deal. But as soon as I'm supposed to actually be doing something, every pore on my body that is capable of producing sweat will do it. I yeah, I don't know. It's psychosomatic, I guess. I honestly don't know. I can get into the zone, or into a zone. So part of what I love so much about playing video games or watching a really immersive movie or writing, once writing, I feel like you're always chasing the dragon of trying to get into the zone, the flow, the mental state of, pure creation, pure efficient creation. Somehow, in just the repetitive process of putting the camera up and everything, I lose time. So it's not quite as awesome as getting into the zone writing wise, but it's not like that. So yeah, for some reason, yeah, the structure of setting up the lights, setting up the camera, setting up sound, going over my notes, I will get into, if only for a few seconds or a few minutes, depending on how the video's going, I'll get into a zone. It's kind of awesome. So yeah. I have two modes or two postures. I either have tense, and this is just how I am in life, so shit. And then the other posture / mode is way too relaxed. So I'm either way up here doing this, or I'm way back here doing this. And yeah, there's not really a happy medium. I can't sit up and be relaxed on camera, especially, but just, the amount of people who in society, in a social environment, have put their hand on my shoulder and tell me to drop my shoulders down and relax. It hasn't happened yet. So anyway, that's what it is. Some takeaways. I'm a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera every day, but then again, when I'm off my game, it could be like I've never been on camera before. Those days happen too. It's different than writing, but it does feel like it's writing adjacent somehow, as the same creative muscles are kind of involved. It's just it's different because it's performative versus sort of an internal experience. Yeah, you can get better. You can get better at being in front of camera if you suck, but you also kind of gotta just use a bunch of cheats if you suck at being in front of camera, and I do. So I don't try to line read. I don't try to memorize stuff. I also don't try to enunciate correctly. That's ironic that I said it that way, because it'll trip me up. So I also make a point to, once I've grabbed my focus, I'll keep my monitor close so I can see that I exist, but I'll never get lost in looking at the monitor, even if I'm between breaths or something, and I know I'm gonna cut there. I don't look over at my monitor because it's gonna throw me off. So yeah, um, I remain envious of people who are just inherent performers, and I come across them a lot. And they're, some of them are just really practiced. A lot of them just seem to just have that mental programming just in them, and I don't. And I'm not the worst because I've seen way worse. But yeah, it's I guess it's a little easier every day, but it's not. I wouldn't say being in front of camera is easy. And I'm kind of horrified slash impressed that auto captions is able to, for the most part, figure out what I'm saying, since I'm very like mumbly and I mispronounce stuff, and it's almost not ever intentional. It's mostly just the way I talk, and it's a real moving target. And maybe at some point I'll be diagnosed with some sort of brain thing that is making it this way, but I think it's just my brain goes faster than my mouth, and I've never bothered to catch up. My mouth, yeah, um, yeah. I think that's it. So I don't know. Is this your guys' experience, or are you just a pro? Yeah. It's so wild to me that like theater kids, this is what they enjoy doing. Because I just don't. But yeah. All right. See ya.